So I went to school today and I collected all these salmon out of the salmon tank. And today we're gonna let them go in the Rogue River. Hope they like their new home.
Me too. All right, WMAS, so here we are out at the Rogue River in Rockford. We're releasing our salmon that we've been raising from eggs since about November. Usually we do this as a 5th grade class field trip, obviously. So we're doing it today. We've got our helpers here, Wyatt and Kelvin, giving me a hand scooping these fish out. Right now we're letting them acclimate. That just kind of means adjust from their aquarium water to the river water. So I put a little bit of river water in here just to kind of get them acclimated to the river, and then, oh, look at that. We got one making the great escape. Nice one, Wyatt.
Can't wait. That's a big fish.
So, when we get these guys, they're fertilized eggs. So we call them an eyed egg. That means that they've been fertilized. For a couple months after they hatch, they just look like, we call them sac fry. They actually have kind of an egg yolk attached to them still that feeds them, so there's no need to feed these fish. Right now we are letting them go in the smolt stage. And so again, these guys are pretty big right now.
Okay.
All right, so the reason we're doing this, folks, is because years ago an invasive species called the sea lamprey got into the Great Lakes, and it basically wiped out the top predator for the Great Lakes. So without a top predator, the smaller fish were overpopulating, and then there wasn't enough food for those smaller fish, and so those smaller fish were all starving. So what they did was they got some salmon from the Pacific Northwest, introduced them purposely into the Great Lakes, and they kind of filled the niche of the lake trout, keeping the smaller fish populations in check.
What is that thing on top? Oh.
Nice. Well, here, I can move it like this, so you don't got to go around the lid. And then we've got bigger nets over there, guys. All right, so why don't I... All right, folks, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna let these salmon go in the Rogue River. We have to do this below the dam because they use this same stretch of river right here. They will come back in 4 to 5 years, and they will actually lay their eggs in this exact same spot where we're releasing them. So if we were to release them above the dam, they wouldn't be able to get up there, and then they may or may not spawn. So we're just gonna let these guys go.
Jump them out?
A couple at a time here. Some of them, I'll show you this one. This is a big one. Oh, pretty big guy right there. So Chinook salmon right there, folks.
Here you go, buddy.
Pretty cool. There you go. One more. Last one.
Cycle videos made by some students from a couple years ago. Shows you the life cycle of the salmon. Good artwork. Headed down the Rogue River Nature Path, which is a great place for birding. In the background, you can hear a catbird. This is a great place to bring your family, take a hike, have a picnic, look in the river.
Okay, so I'm walking down the nature trail here in Rockford, right downtown from the dam. And this trail is just a beautiful trail. As you can see, there's lots of wildflowers, tons of different kinds of pollinators all over these plants, I'm sorry. And the nice thing about this trail, you can bring your dog. There's a dog park right down the trail behind me, and it's along the river the entire way. So come on up, you should check it out. This great blue heron that just landed here, it may or may not be looking for some food. These kinds of birds would just typically walk the shores and look for slower moving prey like a crayfish or a frog versus a fish in the middle of the river. You can see him there, a big boy. So we just released a salmon about 1/8 of a mile down below this dam. So as you heard me mention earlier, the dam would stop the salmon from migrating any further north. And let's see, we've got a red-winged blackbird right here, just hanging out. Oh, making some noise. So I just found this exoskeleton of a mayfly nymph. It actually crawled all the way up here from down there on the river just to turn into an adult and fly away and maybe live for a day.